So this starts out with our State Fiscal Stabilization Fund. We applied for $491 million and received a $247 million grant out of the stimulus funds. When we accepted that grant, we accepted the four mandatory, well, they were four assurances that later became four mandatory assurances once we signed that document. So in those assurances were common standards and assessments, statewide longitudinal data system, equitable distribution of teachers, and turning around of low-performing schools. So that was our State Fiscal Stabilization Fund. That was the first thing that we hit. Got $247 million. Next came our Race to the Top grant application, and that was a competition to earn tax dollars back. Now, those four mandatory assurances changed to be criteria in the Race to the Top application. So, but they were the same things. Standards and assessments, longitudinal data system, turning around low-performing schools, and teacher distribution. The interesting thing being the connection between our State Fiscal Stabilization Fund and our Race to the Top agreement is that in order to even apply for the Race to the Top grant, our State Fiscal Stabilization Fund grant had to be approved. So we had to have already accepted money from the federal government in order to apply for Race to the Top. So Race to the Top, even to just apply for money, we had to agree to the standards and assessments, even if you didn't win any of the Race to the Top money. Next was our No Child Left Behind waiver, and there are actually two portions to that. There was the option A and option B. And what the No Child Left Behind waiver did is it gave us some leniency in some of the most stringent aspects of No Child Left Behind. But in order to receive that waiver, we had to agree to adopt college and career ready standards, which we just happened to prove that we did by adopting Common Core. And that's how we received our waiver. There were several states that in their original either Race to the Top applications or their applications for their waivers where they didn't mention Common Core and their applications were rejected. But by simply adding the words Common Core to their applications, they were then accepted. I think Massachusetts was one for Race to the Top. They didn't have that in there originally, but when they did put Common Core in, that one slight change made them a Race to the Top winner. So adopting Common Core definitely gave states an edge in receiving the grants or in receiving the waiver.
Now, did Idaho ever receive any funds?
We received $247 million from the State Fiscal Stabilization Fund.
Okay, because Tom Luna states over and over again that we received no federal money.
We didn't receive any federal money from Race to the Top, but we did in that initial grant application for the State Fiscal Stabilization Fund. So it's not direct, but there is a connection when you realize that, to even apply for Race to the Top, our original grant for the State Fiscal Stabilization Fund had to be approved. So, Race to the Top specifically mentions Common Core. State Fiscal Stabilization Fund, not so specifically, but because of the connection there, we absolutely received federal dollars for adopting Common Core.